top tips to make a first date fabulous. I'm so happy that you've joined me because I know that you want to have amazing first dates that'll hopefully lead to meeting your soulmate. That is the most wonderful and transcendental thing that can happen, right? We're all searching for that one special love. And you know what? Nowadays, with everything going so fast, the apps on the phones for dating, people swiping left and right, and online dating and matchmakers, it seems like there is a never-ending supply of singles out there. And we don't want to feel that way because you know what? We could really blow a first date and that could have been the one. But because people are in such I want it now mode, you really want to make a great impression on a first date because you don't want someone to count you out because of some silly mistake. So my first tip to make your first date fabulous is, get ready. This one's good because we're all harried, we're all busy, we're all running from work, maybe going home, doing some errands, taking the dog out for a walk, getting dressed, and then going to the date. And it shows. It shows when you show up all harried, all other things on your mind. Maybe you're checking your phone, you're on your way to the bathroom, you've got all these other things on your mind, and instead of being present for your date, you look like a whirling dervish. You look like you're scattered. Your energy is all over the place. And your date is going to think that you are not interested, don't have your act together, can't keep focus. There's a million things that could be running through your date's mind, right? So before you even get out of your car, take a moment to ground yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and shake off the residue of the day. Ground yourself, center yourself, get into your femininity, get excited about this new person that you're going to meet, that you're going to learn about. And if you need to check your phone and answer any last minute text or calls, do that now, and then turn off your phone and put it in your handbag. Walk into the restaurant and have a big smile on your face, your energy's high, and you sit down with your date. So that way you have your attention on that person. And when you're sitting there, you want to ask that person questions. You want to be present. You want to listen. You want to be engaged. You don't want to be looking around at who else is there. Even if you see that person and they're not your type, you say, oh my gosh, they looked so much better in the photo, or I didn't realize they're really not my type. You never know who they might know. They might have a friend that's perfect for you. You might have a business connection there. You really want to stay centered, focused, and have a great time. Be there with that person. Find out about them. And let me know how that feels for you, because being present, being grounded, being there is something that most people aren't. We're out of our bodies, we're scattered, we're thinking of a million things. So you're gonna stand out and you're gonna feel a lot more in control, you're gonna feel better about yourself, and you're gonna have a much better time. This is a good one. All right, what do you talk about on the date? Seems like a no-brainer, right? Everybody's gone on a date, everyone's been out in public and had social situations where we have conversation, but you'd be surprised. I get feedback time and time again, and this seems to be an issue. So just keep in mind that when you are sitting across from someone on a first date, that person has had probably a long day, maybe a lot of stress, maybe fought traffic to get there, and is really looking forward to a nice, relaxing evening. All right, so I hear this all the time when my male clients will call me with feedback. I can't tell you how many times I hear, Marla, Joan was lovely, she was beautiful, she was just my type, but unfortunately she's got a lot of problems and she treated me like her therapist. I had to hear all about the medication she was on, all about her ex, the fact that her rent is too high, and on and on and on. And then I hear, can't you just find me a woman who's happy with her life? So listen, we all have problems, we've all got challenges, but the first date is not a place to air our laundry or talk about it. We have girlfriends for that. We've got therapists for that. We've got our dog or cat or meditate or pray, right? But leave that kind of conversation out of the first date. Also politics. It's the first time in my 17 years of matchmaking that this has even been an issue, but it's gone really kind of wacky. And I'm like, whoa, now I've got to check for politics as well. So political arguments, debates, not a good place. I understand that you may feel extremely passionate about your politics, your candidate, but you know, getting into an argument or heated debate about it, it's just a bad scene. It's not going to end well, and it's just going to make everybody feel bad. And probably the man is paying for the dinner, and if you're at a nice place, it could be up to a $200 dinner, and then he's got to feel that he was on a political debate. So talking about exes, going deep into how horrible your ex was, what issues they had, what an a-hole or whatever, you know, leave that to the side. And if your date asks you, because this is one thing that'll come up, they'll say, but Marla, he asked me about my ex. Why did it go wrong? Or why did I get a divorce? So I was just answering the question. If someone asks, well, what happened with your last relationship? Why did you get a divorce? That is not an opening or an invitation to go on a 20-minute rant about all the transgressions of your ex. The best way is to handle it elegantly and just say, you know, it just, you know, it depends. So let's say you have kids with your ex. You can say, he's the father of my children. I highly respect him. We grew apart and we've gone different ways. And just leave it at that. Find something similar to that you can say in a couple of sentences, something on a positive note. And you know, you really want to be there learning about this new person. You don't want to be who wants to hear about exes? I wouldn't. Another tip that I felt the need to share is alcohol. So that's where you get into some of these, you know, political debates or rants on exes, because once you've had a couple, 2, 3, 4 drinks, you know, you're feeling pretty loose and comfortable and things just spill out. So be very careful about the alcohol intake. Yes, it's very nice to have a glass of wine with a date, but you know, women can tend to be lightweights and it can really go to our heads. So we really want to keep our heads about us and know what we're saying and, you know, behave appropriately so that we have a chance at that second date. Now, what to do if your date asks you if you'd like to see him again? I always had problems with this one when I was dating. You know, you'd have a nice dinner or lunch with someone, and then going through my mind would be, well, he's a nice guy, but never in a million years could I kiss him. I'm not interested in him as a relationship going forward. But then they had an interest in me, and you know, how well would you like to, you know, get together again? And then I would say, well, sure, call me. And then I would never return the call. And I just, you know, I looked like a bitch, right? It was like the poor guy calling, and I would never pick up, and I would never respond. So that's not nice. You know, I'll tell you what men really appreciate is when a woman is confident enough, grounded enough to say, hey, Jim, you're a fantastic guy, and some girl is going to be so lucky to be with you. But unfortunately, I just don't feel that romantic chemistry, but I wish you all the best. And you know what? I've had guys tell me that when women have said that to them, they are so appreciative because they know, all right, check her off. I don't have to try to call her again, and on to the next. And it may hurt their ego a little bit. They may be disappointed, but in the end, they really appreciate it. And that's being an adult, and it feels great. I know it's scary at first to do it, but just give it a try, give it a shot, and you really will feel empowered. So, what do you wear on a first date? It seems kind of basic, right? I mean, most women know how to dress. We love dressing up and looking great, but men think differently about what looks good on a woman. You'd be surprised. You know, they say that women dress for other women, and I think it's kind of true because there's things that I'll put on a lot of times, and I just think it's fantastic, and my husband is like, what is that? You know, it's not feminine, it's not sexy, you look like a gypsy, but I generally go around in yoga pants since I work at home, so I'm not dressing up that much. But it is interesting how he sees it much differently than I do. And since men are visual, of course they're going to want to see your figure. They want to see if you have the body type that they like. Most guys have a type, whether it's blondes, brunettes, redheads, blue eyes, brown eyes. I don't like to get that specific when matching, but body type for sure. Whether it's runway thin, just average, or curvy. So he wants to see, does she have the body type that I'm going to get excited about? So you want to wear something form-fitting where he can see your figure. I remember once, years ago, when I was working in Beverly Hills, and the fad at the time were these puffy dresses where the kind of bottom half of near the hips was all puffy. One feedback that I got from a guy was, hey, you know, Angela was beautiful, she was sweet, she was charming, but she was wearing one of those puffy dresses, and I couldn't tell whether she has a big butt or not. I know it sounds crazy, but he wanted to see, and I assured him, yes, she's a yoga instructor, she dances all the time, she's in great shape, but he couldn't be sure because he didn't get to see it. So he wanted to know what was under that puffy dress. So you want to wear something form-fitting, but you don't want to wear a mini skirt and a plunging neckline. You're going to look like a hooker, and we don't want that. We don't want to display everything out in the open. So if you're going to show some cleavage, wear a long skirt or some slacks. If you're going to wear a short skirt, then wear a top that doesn't show all your cleavage. Maybe a turtleneck or just a line that goes about to here, like a scoop neck. You do want to look feminine. Guys love that. As far as makeup goes, I've heard this a lot. So many men would complain about the women wearing too much makeup. And, you know, hey, we're just trying to look pretty for the guy, right? We want to look good, so we're putting on the makeup. But men tend to like a light, less is more. They like a light makeup, and the same goes for perfume. You don't know if a guy has allergies or what kind of perfume. I can use my hubby as an example again. He has allergies and he is very sensitive to smells. There's only about 2 or 3 perfumes on the market that he actually likes. So I wear those for him. So you don't know where your date stands on the scent issue. So something light, you just want to smell clean. So light makeup, light perfume, nails done. You don't want any bitten down nails. You want your mani, your pedi. You do want to look fabulous. This is your one and only chance to make a first impression. One other story I want to share was I got feedback from a guy on his first date with a gal named Ginger. And he told me that she arrived to lunch just looking like she just got out of the gym. I mean, no makeup, you know, terrible clothes. And I was so shocked because she's such a lovely put together gal. And when I called to ask her about it, she said, well, you know what, Marla, usually my first dates never work out. You know, I didn't think anything would come from it. So I thought, why even get dressed up? And I just came, you know, looking like that. Whoa, why go, right? Why go on the date? You want to make a good first impression. And ladies, if it's not a love connection, you don't know. It could be a great connection for a job. I remember another story about a gal who used to live in my apartment building named Linda. I matched her with a surgeon who lived in Malibu, and they were dating for a while. As far as I knew, they were still dating. But one day, I went down in the garage, and I saw her pulling out of her parking space in a brand new Mercedes. And I said, Linda, what's going on? Because I knew she was a struggling actress, singer. She didn't have any money, right? And she's, oh yeah. She goes, remember that surgeon you matched me up with? She says, he wasn't a great fit romantically, but he hooked me up with a fantastic job. I'm making so much money that I just ordered this Mercedes off the boat from Germany. So that first date ended up working out into something fantastic for her life. So you never know what might happen. So remember this tip, look great for your first date.